Q, which is why most people call me Jenny Q or JQ, which you're all welcome to call me that. And the reason these facts are important, the octopus, first of all, is if you haven't spent a lot of time on YouTube, I suggest that you go and look because it's an amazing, amazing animal. And I'm not going to spend too much time, you do this on your own. However, this morning I got, my boyfriend sent me a link to a very interesting video about an octopus, and apparently there is an octopus in an aquarium in New Zealand who has learned how to photograph people. So I'm just saying that because Taylor, you may have some competition. So the other thing about the octopus is that in an alternate universe, I would have not become a graphic designer, I would have become a marine biologist because I'm so fascinated by marine life and particularly the octopus. And the octopus, the other interesting thing for me is that it, as sort of a spirit animal, the octopus is a multitasker and has a lot of legs doing a lot of different things and a lot of different skills and talents, and that's what I try to embody. So that's octopus. Now the Q, most people that meet me and they hear that my middle initials Q, the first question is, well, what does the Q stand for? So the story behind the Q is that sadly I was born without a middle name, and I was born during a time that in every class that I attended, I was maybe one of 6 or 7 Jennies or Jennifers. Some of you may relate to that, having a lot of Jennies or Jennifers in your life. So knowing that, when I was about 6 years old, I found myself in my class, and I thought, I have to find something to set myself apart, something to distinguish myself from the other Jennies and Jennifers. And so I adopted this Q, and that became my middle initial. So that being said, that is the question, and that is the thing that I pose to all of you today, is what is it that sets you apart in your profession, or in my case, in a sea of Jennies? So, so my presentation is going by the different legs of the octopus. So, and it's not working. Leg one is, let's see if it's working. Yay, it's working. So, leg one, the beginning. So, I was born in New York City, and my parents were Eva and Irv Sandrof. Let's just use this to show you. Okay, Eva and Irv Sandrof. And my mother, Eva, was born in Nazi Germany, and my grandparents were smart enough to get the family out in time, and had they not been that smart, I would not be standing here today. And they immigrated to the United States and wound up in New York City. And my father was also the son of Russian immigrants. And those facts kind of shaped their worldview. And my parents are both people who are and were very involved in political things and social awareness and justice and those kind of things. And I was raised with those principles too, of looking towards people who had less or were oppressed, and injustices and rising above them. So that was a very formative thing for me. The other thing was that they were both very talented artists, so I didn't really have a choice. And I was born in New York City. I was the middle child of 3. This is my older sister and my younger brother and me. My days as a blonde, so much more fun.
I remember those days.
Yeah.
I remember the days when we had hair.
And so my parents moved the family when we were quite young over the Hudson River, over the George Washington Bridge to New Jersey, to a town called Teaneck, which the famous thing about Teaneck is that it was one of the first communities in the United States to have voluntarily integrated schools. So that was sort of so it was a very diverse and colorful background I had, and we spent a lot of time going back over the George Washington Bridge into Manhattan. And you're kidding me, 5 minutes. I better move this along. Okay, so that was my my childhood, and yeah, I'm going to do it this way. Oops, sorry. Okay, so after graduating high school, I did spend a summer at the Rhode Island School of Design doing a summer program, and then I went to Rutgers University, where I made lifelong friends and got my degree in art and communications. And then I graduated and took my perfunctory trip to Europe. These are sketches from my sketchbook. And came back and decided that New Jersey was no longer where I wanted to be. And I got together with a friend of mine, and we packed up her Pontiac Bonneville, you see in the upper right-hand corner, and along with her German Shepherd Harvest, and we crossed the country and stopped in various places along the country. I learned a lot about what this country is like, Badlands, the Bryce Canyon, Grand Canyon, and headed towards San Francisco. And also spent a little bit of time when we were discovering where we wanted to live in Santa Cruz, and discovered that Santa Cruz was the place to be, and really the deciding factor. We found places to live in both, and the deciding factor was that it would be better for the dog to live in Santa Cruz. So, as a 23-year-old, that's how I made decisions, and that's how I ended up in Santa Cruz, and never left.
That's how I made the decision at 37.
Yeah, so okay. So, leg free, ended up in Santa Cruz, got a job at a company called Pacific Publishing, and became a graphic designer there. And I was there for 12 years, and at the end of those 12 years, I became the art director. I kind of made it up the ranks, became the art director. Also worked as the art director for a publication called South Bay Accent. I'm moving quickly now. Okay, and next leg being family and marriage. Towards the end of my career at Pacific Publishing, I met my husband, Bill, also known as BTA, or Bill the Architect. Within a few short years, we got married, had my fabulous daughter, Claire. A lot of pictures of her here. Bill's family's artistic too. She got all the artistic DNA and is way more talented than anybody. And she also grew very quickly, so I'm 5'8", she grew to be 5'11", and was scouted to be a model. Terrible toxic industry, so she was there for a couple of years and went to Milan and New York. You can see some of her pictures there. And she got out of it and is now in art school, thank goodness. I'm also, on Saturday I was talking to my husband about this presentation. I said, I'm not sure how to talk about this part of it because we are separated, and he said to me, well, just tell them that we were happily married for 19 years and then I lost my mind. That's his quote. So I started my business at the end of working for Pacific Publishing. I decided to go out on my own so that I could be a parent as well as have a job at home. And so I started. So over the years, I've done many, many, many logos and brands. This is a smattering of them. These are local ones. You may recognize some that you know. There's Firefish, the Animal Shelter, Woody's, the old Theo's. Lots and lots of logos in this town. Something I love doing, love working with people. A lot of marketing materials, posters, brochures, graphics for trade shows. You might recognize some of these here. Yeah. Lots of different kinds of materials, annual reports, fancy splashy graphics, worked for a lot of different trade show graphics, some large, some small, bringing color and brand. I'm going through this very quickly, and lots and lots and lots of ads for a lot of different companies. Again, you might recognize some of these local companies. There's Utopia and Firefish for hospice, and some random realtors. That kind of thing. So the next leg of my journey is just some personal stuff. About 5 years ago, I've always been a runner, but I got into fitness with the Santa Cruz Challenge, if anybody's heard of that. It's a 12-week fitness program, and I did it 5 times and changed my life. And oh my goodness, My big accomplishments there were going from only being able to do 4 push-ups to doing 50,
Wow.
and holding the record in planking for the challenge of holding an 8-minute plank. And I don't think I could do 50 sit-ups today, but if anybody wants to challenge me. And doing lots of boot camps, which I still do, boot camps on the beach at early in the morning, watching the sunrise, enjoying all that Sandrof has to offer. And then my other challenge was, a couple years ago, bucket list item, I did a triathlon, and you can see us all training for it, looking happy and smiley, and then not so much smiling, getting out of the water and fighting the rip current at Morro Bay. But lots of smiles again at the end when I accomplished that. So there were a lot of really good things that happened, and I feel like it's part of keeping my attitude good and keeping myself healthy and enjoying the quality of life and being a better professional because of that. Other interests quickly, I'm a jewelry designer. I run a lot of 10Ks, usually, always in costume, there's always costumes with my friends. I do a little bit of painting, not surprisingly, these are paintings of octopuses. I have worked on a production called Fashion Art, and I've modeled in wearing a little outfit made out of tabs from soda cans, and I'm also on the board of directors for the Capitola SoCal Chamber of Commerce. So that is. And then the final leg, and I thank you, Steve Pappas, for an introduction to this, is about relationships. And to me, these are pictures of relationships that are important to me. I have a lot of friends who are very, very dear to me and give me a lot of quality of life, and do a lot of activities. Again, a lot of costumes, a lot of parties, a lot of hikes, a lot of trail runs, a lot of things like that. But relationships also are really important in the business world, and I really pride myself on having wonderful relationships with the clients that I have, really getting to know them, being able to service their needs, and finding over time that I've actually made friends. They're not just clients, so sometimes they pick up the phone to call me, and we need to have a 10-minute talk about what's going on in our personal lives before we get to the business at hand. So that's something that I really value, and makes my work and my life a lot more fun and a lot more interesting. And as Steve said, it's also in this environment, I really feel like relationships are the most important thing. And again, it's not just about being more successful, it's also about being more content and thriving and having a happier life. So that's me. Any questions?